Hello everyone and welcome to another game of World of Warships. Today we are watching Freeker in the Scharnhorst, the Tier 7 German premium battleship. He is on the map Brawling in a 3-point domination game mode. And it's a Tier 7 battle. There is one enemy carrier and there are 3 destroyers. So, seems alright. Now, here in the beginning of the match, he is going towards Point Charlie. This isn't something I'd usually recommend for a battleship. Basically, this is a rather small channel here and destroyers can just launch torpedoes through this channel and you'll have a very hard time dodging them. There is this small gap here where they can just also sit and wait. It's basically, it can be a nightmare. There are a lot of ships with torpedoes around. Now, the advantage of the Scharnhorst is, the Scharnhorst has rather low caliber guns, so with a quick reload. So you have guns that are more like cruiser guns than battleship guns. Which means the Scharnhorst is pretty okay with dealing with destroyers. The Scharnhorst has great secondaries. And the Scharnhorst has torpedoes as well. So if destroyers get close to a Scharnhorst, they are probably gonna die. Anyway, I still usually wouldn't take a battleship towards this point of the map, but he's going this way and it can certainly work in the Scharnhorst. Also, they have quite a lot of ships going towards Alpha already. And sometimes you can get Point Charlie for free almost. Because it's a point where a lot of people don't want to go. And, well, you can see the enemy cruisers there. Now, cruisers tend to support their destroyers in getting this point. And the Scharnhorst is also pretty decent at dealing with cruisers. And here we can see an incoming airstrike. Someone is pinging this like crazy. Let's hope that the friendly carrier is able to, well, somehow defend against this. Although I think they might be going for the battleship instead. Now currently the friendly team is losing like Alpha and Bravo, which isn't that great. There are still a lot of ships around here, but they haven't managed to get inside the cap circle. But it's looking good here around Charlie, and considering that there are so many destroyers here, it's probably even a decent choice to back it up in the Scharnhorst. Also, the Scharnhorst is a pretty fast ship, so even though he didn't spawn very close to this point, he was able to get here in a reasonable amount of time. And yeah, now here it will most likely be a brawl. And the Scharnhorst excels at brawling. Now, he had high explosive loaded, probably because he was expecting to fight mostly destroyers here. And now he switched to armor piercing. If those cruisers continue to show broadside, even a Scharnhorst can do a lot of damage to them. And there is a citadel. Now there will be torpedoes incoming. Both of those cruisers have torpedoes. And it looks like the Miyoko is going for it. Also they have torpedo launchers on both sides, something else to watch out for. And unfortunately this was... Salvo didn't do that much damage. Now it looks like the Miyoko is probably trying to get closer and use his torpedo launchers on this side. But, you know, Scharnhorst has torpedoes as well, and it looks like he was faster. Now the second cruiser is ambushed by a friendly destroyer, and that leaves this Congo here who is... well, he is starting to anchor, I think, but a decent salvo. Fortunately, a friendly destroyer here got taken out. Now the Scharnhorst has torpedo launchers on both sides, so the Kongo will very soon hit pretty hard. Unfortunately, there is another battleship here in the north, and Freeker will have trouble angling against both of those. Now he's using high explosive here. The Kongo isn't that well armored, but sometimes you have trouble getting a good angle in a close quarters fight like this. And he decided he just wants to burn this Kongo to the ground. Unfortunately, he took a pretty big hit here. But it's a difficult situation. He can't angle against the Kongo and the Bayern here in the north at the same time. And well, prevailed in this brawl. It was a pretty nice battle. Now he is going to leave the cap circle in order to help the York against the Hatsuharu. Getting caps is pretty important, so he could just try to stop here and capture C, but I think dealing with the Hatsuharu and helping this teammate is more important. The Hatsuharu is almost down. So now he can turn around and try to capture C. Also, he's unspotted now, so he'll have some time to heal up. There are still 2 charges left on the heal, which is good because his hit points are very low. Now, while this brawl here happened, the friendly team has a lot of ships towards it at Alpha, and hopefully they will get this point soon. Now this battle is pretty even, I'd say. The friendly team has 1 more ship, but the enemies control more points. Now he's here sailing pretty slowly. He has no rush to be anywhere. And he doesn't really want to get spotted yet. If he waits long enough, he can use the second charge of his repair party and have more health going into the next fight. Now he's detected by planes. I'm not sure where the plane is that's detecting him. He has also launched his own catapult fighter. Now the catapult fighter is obviously used as anti-air, and the enemies have a carrier, but the carrier isn't anywhere near here. The catapult fighter was most likely launched in order to provide some additional spotting. And having a plane circle your ship can sometimes be helpful at spotting enemies you couldn't see otherwise. And the point is almost captured. I suspect he will go through this channel and towards Point Bravo then. Hopefully the cruiser will follow. It's starting to look pretty decent. There isn't a major offensive from the enemies here at Point Alpha. There aren't any enemies around here. So if the enemies are stay here up in the north and aren't actually engaging the points, then the friendly team has a decent chance of just winning this over time. And here we go, the second repair party is used. His last charge of the heal is now gone, but he has a decent amount of health left. We saw a cruiser earlier here at Bravo. Not sure where he is going. I think he would most likely back up his friends at Alpha, and would make the most sense for the enemies to just go for A altogether, but looks like that Miyoko has another plan. He is coming this way, and the way he is turning, he is most likely going to launch his torpedoes here. I mean, Those islands make a torpedo launch here rather bad. I mean, the angle in which he could have launched them was rather limited. As you can see, he launched in the only way he could. But those torpedoes got nowhere near the Scharnhorst, and now his torpedoes are on cooldown. Now he has a launch out on the other side. He could turn his ship around, but if he continues around this way, then he will just be sailing broadside in front of a battleship who has torpedoes. Yeah, don't think this is going to turn out so well. Still, the Miyoko is coming this way. And yeah, the torpedoes will seal the fate of the Miyoko. Maybe if he'd turned pretty hard this way, he would have been able to get in a position to use the launches on the other side. Now the friendly team lost Alpha again. The friendly ships here are in retreat, but they are taking Bravos, so there is that. And the team still has a slight lead in ships. Now Freeker is on very low health here, and this is the point where you wanna start playing a bit more passively. As long as you're alive, you can still keep your guns in the game, and you can still do quite a bit of damage. But if the moment you charge the front line, you're probably dying to 1 or 2 salvos. So while sniping is rather ineffective in a battleship in general, if you're on such low health, you might want to try to stay in the back line and stay in cover. Unless you really have to push or an opportunity presents itself to take someone out with your torpedoes. And also he is using high explosive here. Said before, the Scharnhorst has rather low caliber guns. The armor piercing might have problems against battleships, but you can still score some decent hits with armor piercing. I still haven't figured out when it's the right time for what ammunition in the Scharnhorst. But I can certainly understand that he just wants to set some fires at the enemy ships. Also, the enemies have quite a few battleships still alive, while the friendly team only has Freeker, and yeah, he is really too low. His health are too low to do much at the front lines. And all of those cruisers have to be very careful, because the battleships can take them out rather quickly. So while the friendly team still has a ship lead, they have to be really careful and can't really press their advantage. The biggest advantage right now is that they have more capture points, and they can't just sit back and wait for the enemy to come. Also, if they can keep this carrier spotted and maybe take him out before he can retreat to safety, it will certainly help. There is a fire, which is nice. Let's hope that the carrier can't repair it. And yeah, Freeker here, he is doing the right thing. He's playing it passive. He's trying to stay away from those enemies. And while you can see a lot of his shells are missing and the damage isn't that great at the distance, as long as he is alive, he can keep his guns firing. Also, I might point out that in replays you sometimes see guns firing if they haven't turned fully yet. This is a replay bug. Now we sped it up a little bit here. There is mostly long-range sniping, which isn't that interesting to watch mostly. Now keep in mind that while the friendly team has a lot more ships left, those ships aren't necessarily at that much health, and those cruisers can go down quite quickly if the battleships get a good hit on them. Now there also isn't that much time left, which means the enemies really have to make something happen. And yeah, their friendly team is pushing rather aggressively with low health cruisers. That could still make them lose the game. But the enemies are too busy running away. They should really try to capitalize on it. If you are in a spot where you are almost certainly going to lose, or it's looking like you're gonna lose, then you can't just like run away. I mean, if those enemy battleships turn around, they have nothing to lose and they have everything to gain, so. And yes, Freeker is still trying to avoid fire. He is on very low health. 1 or 2 salvos can end him as well. And I mean, the friendly team's winning. They have no reason to risk anything here. So pretty soon this game will be over if the friendly team manages to stay alive a little bit longer. Time will be up. Now the time is almost over right now. The friendly Miyoko here is also almost down, but they will win this by points even if this Miyoko is sunk right here. The enemy battleships should have pushed in here harder a little bit earlier. If they'd managed to take out the cruisers and Freeker here, then they probably would have won. Now there are 15 seconds left in this game. So, yeah, this is a win. Let's take a look at the results. Freeker managed to get 1998 base experience, and I'd say it was well played by him. Now, while I wouldn't necessarily go towards Point Charlie in the beginning, I have to admit that the Scharnhorst is a ship that can work there, and he certainly made it work. He helped clean up this point, then progressed towards B, helped take this point, and realized his hit points are too low, so he played it passive the rest of the game, and helped win. Freeker got himself Fireproof and Dreadnought. He did 123,000 points of damage. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed watching this game. I think it featured a very nice brawl, a close game, and a very well played Scharnhorst. So, hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys next time.